All right, let's just dive straight into it. Today, we're building a literal blueprint for the perfect night's sleep. We're going to dig into the hard science and, more importantly, the practical tools you can use to go from tossing and turning all night to waking up feeling completely recharged. So, look at this stat 44%. According to the CDC, that is the percentage of Americans who actually report getting a restful night's sleep on a regular basis. Think about that for a second. More than half the population is waking up feeling like they're already running on empty. But if you're in that majority, the really good news here is that sleep isn't just some mysterious lottery you hope to win. It's a biological process. And because it's a process, we can actually optimize it. But before we start fixing the problem, we really need to understand what we're aiming for. Because sleep, it isn't just about logging hours in bed like you're punching a clock. It's entirely about the quality of the cycles you go through. See, we desperately need deep sleep for physical recovery, tissue repair, and strengthening our immune system. But at the same time, we equally rely on REM sleep for emotional regulation and memory integration. If your habits or your bedroom environment disrupt either of these stages, you just aren't going to feel rested, even if you were technically unconscious for a full 8 hours.
So here's how we're going to tackle this in today's explainer. We've got a 5-step blueprint: anchoring your schedule, optimizing your environment, mastering temperature, instituting a wind-down protocol, and finally, knowing when it's time to seek support.
Step 1. Anchor your schedule. This might sound a little backwards, but if you want to fall asleep easier tonight, your first action actually starts the minute you wake up. Your body's internal clock absolutely craves regularity. Now, your bedtime, that can float a little bit depending on how sleepy you actually feel, but your wake time is the ultimate anchor. You want to set it, and you really want to try and stick to it within a 60-minute window. Yes, even on the weekends. Now, when you pair that consistent wake time with morning light therapy, it is an absolute game changer. Clinical trials show that getting bright blue light, specifically right in that 460 to 480 nanometer wavelength range for just 25 minutes in the morning, has a profound impact on your biology. It targets these very specific, highly photosensitive cells in your retina that essentially scream at your brain to stop making melatonin. By locking this in every single day, trial participants actually saw massive drops in their daytime fatigue scores. It is incredibly effective at regulating your internal clock. Moving right along to step 2, optimize your environment. If you want the absolute fastest upgrades to your sleep, you have to master the bedroom trifecta: cool, dark, and quiet. Your brain heavily associates light with go mode, right? So blackout curtains and covering those pesky little glowing LED lights on your chargers or electronics are absolutely vital to signaling your brain that it's time to shut down. And for noise, here's the thing: even if a noise doesn't fully wake you up, sudden sounds can literally yank you right out of your deep sleep stages. Using white noise, a simple fan, or just basic earplugs creates this consistent sound blanket that protects your sleep continuity all night long. Okay, let's talk about pillows, because this is so incredibly practical. Your pillow loft, or its height, must specifically match your sleep position to keep your neck neutral. You really shouldn't just buy a pillow because it feels soft and fluffy in the store. You need to buy for physical alignment. So if you're a side sleeper, you need a higher loft to fill that gap above your shoulder. Back sleepers, you need a medium loft just for gentle neck support. And stomach sleepers, to prevent severe neck strain, you actually need a very low loft or, honestly, sometimes no pillow at all. And of course, there's the mattress itself. A really well-known randomized trial looked at this and found that medium firm beds actually improved pain and disability significantly more than very firm ones, especially for folks dealing with chronic lower back pain. You want a surface that gives you supported but not rigid comfort. All right, step 3, master temperature. And honestly, this might be my favorite one. So, thermoregulation. Your body is biologically hardwired to cool down at night, and supporting that natural drop in temperature directly increases your deep sleep. When your bedroom is kept cooler, and the sweet spot is ideally between 60 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, it actually signals to your body that it is time to release melatonin. If you disrupt this process by sleeping in a room that's just too hot, your sleep becomes lighter, way more fragmented, and much less restorative. Now, this is absolutely crucial to understand. There is a massive difference between passive cooling and active cooling. Passive cooling relies on breathable fabrics, like cotton percale or linen sheets. And they're great, but they eventually warm up to match your body heat. Active cooling, on the other hand, uses advanced systems that actively maintain a strictly controlled temperature across the entire sleep surface all night long. This is a massive lever for your nightly recovery. It maximizes your deep sleep phases, which is when the bulk of your physical repair actually happens. Plus, active cooling ensures you don't wake up sweating at 3 a.m. because your bed is perfectly mirroring your body's thermal needs from dusk till dawn. And if you don't believe me, just look at this Harvard study. It is wild. They showed that people fell asleep more than 3 times faster when their body temperature was allowed to drop to its lowest point. It took an average of just 6.2 minutes to fall asleep in optimal cooler conditions, compared to 20 minutes when they were kept warmer. So if you're someone who regularly tosses and turns trying to drift off, dialing in your core temperature could literally shave minutes, if not hours, off of your nightly frustration. Okay, step 4, wind down protocol. Think of this as a literal countdown sequence for your brain. You are giving yourself the physical and chemical signals to switch out of go mode. At T-minus 60 minutes, you want a hard cutoff on late caffeine and heavy meals. This prevents acid reflux or those annoying digestive wake-ups. At T-minus 30 minutes, we initiate what we call the screen sunset. Dim the overhead lights, aggressively turn down your phone brightness, and strictly avoid stressful content. No doom scrolling, no checking work emails that are just going to spike your cortisol. And for that final 2-minute reset right before you get into bed, try doing 6 rounds of box breathing. You inhale for a count of 4, hold it for 2, and then exhale for a long count of 6. This directly triggers your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest mode. Then follow that up by literally writing down one simple sentence committing to protecting your sleep. Something like, "Tonight, I'm protecting my sleep by putting my phone away." It sounds almost too simple, but it's a tiny psychological trick that pays massive dividends. And finally, step 5, when to seek support. Look, sometimes all the at-home optimization in the world just isn't enough, and that is totally okay. If you are experiencing real red flags, like chronic insomnia happening 3 or more nights a week for months on end, or loud gasping and choking during the night, it's absolutely time to consult a medical professional. Symptoms like falling asleep while driving, severe restless legs, or frequent nightmares are clear indicators you might be dealing with something like sleep apnea or another underlying condition. In those cases, clinical therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia would be highly, highly recommended. So wrapping up this explainer, with all of this data and thermoregulation science we just threw at you, I really want to leave you with one final thought. Look at the blueprint we just built together. Are you going to set a strict wake time for tomorrow morning? Are you going to lower that thermostat down to 65 degrees tonight? Or maybe just commit to that 2-minute nervous system reset? The tools are right here. Pick just one step, start tonight, and see how it transforms your tomorrow.